Hello and welcome back to a Mancinima special talking about Star Wars Episode 1 The Phantom Menace once again. In this episode we're going to be taking a look at some of the publications that came out when the movie came out. So what I thought I'd do is I'd take a look at some of the adaptations. So in comic book form you had the novel by Terry Brooks, and of course we'll be taking a look at some of the magazines and promotional books that came out when the movie came out. Let's start first of all with the adaptations. Now, back in the 1970s, comic adaptations were done by Marvel Comics. They launched with the original 1977 movie. I think the comic book came out in England about 1978. We had an English version about 1978. We were a little bit behind the times because we didn't get the movie until then. So, so they did the first adaptations and they ran for quite a few number of years, all the way through to Return of the Jedi. However, around the 1990s, the license was given to Dark Horse Comics to produce Star Wars adaptations. So they'd already been running a successful series of Star Wars stories. And around 1999, of course, the movie The Phantom Menace was coming out and they were chosen to do the adaptation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some of the covers from those adaptations. Now, this is the first one. This is number 1 of a series of 4. And I'm just going to check that's okay on the camera, not too glistening because we've got the light shining on it. But this is the first one. And this was, as I said, a series of 4. This is the art cover for the first comic book of Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Some lovely artwork there. And what I used to do is I would back them back to back. And this is the second one. Again, lovely artwork there depicting the pod race. On to the third one, featuring our old pal Darth Maul. I hope you guys can see that, it's not too shimmery. I can't take them out of the packaging, unfortunately, because it protects them. And they are 25 years old. And there we go, that's the final battle between Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan and Darth Maul for the 4th comic book in this series. As well as doing the artwork covers, they also did a series of photo covers. So we'll go with the first one here. So right at the beginning of the film, you've got Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon. As you can see, lovely photo art cover. And for the second comic book, they did a lovely photograph of little Anakin. And for the third, we've got Darth Maul on Tatooine. And then if we go to the 4th one, we have got Amidala, Padme Amidala, just before she's about to launch into battle. So all of these covered the adaptation of the story from The Phantom Menace. As I say, unfortunately, I can't open them up for you, but I can show you what the pages look like in a moment, because I can show you this, which was a graphic novel which contained all of the adaptations in one book. So that's that, and that is the back of it. And in a moment, I will pop that down on the table and we'll have a look through some of the images that you can see in this comic book. So we'll take a closer look at some of that. So this is the graphic novel of Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. As I said, it was released by Dark Horse Comics. This is basically the adaptation of all of the comic books all in one book, so you can read the entire story all in one go. So we'll just take a look at some of the artwork that's inside here. As you can see, there's some really good stuff inside there. Lovely artwork. And the pod race scene, of course. And of course, the opening crawl and the beginning of the film. As well as that, they did a series of comic books with individual tales about some of the individual characters. So let's start off with this one. This is the Queen Amidala one. There's some artwork on that one as well, which was really nice. And of course, they did a photo cover for it. Okay, and I hope I'm not getting too much glare on it for you, but you guys can see that okay. And then we had an Obi-Wan Kenobi one, again with some lovely artwork on there. See Queen Amidala or whoever down there, and Qui-Gon as well. And of course, over here, we've got the lovely photo cover, which is a really nice picture of Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan. Then, of course, we had Qui-Gon. This one's a really good piece of art as well. You've got Darth Maul lurking in the background. And of course, again, a lovely photo cover. And last but not least, Anakin Skywalker. You've got Sebulba down there, depicting the pod race, of course. And then on the back here, we have got a lovely photograph of Jake Lloyd as Anakin Skywalker. So again, these were all little individual stories which spun off from the main adaptation of The Phantom Menace. They were kind of little side stories. They were really quite interesting in their own right. So if you can somehow find those on eBay or somewhere else, I suggest you go back and take a look at those. They're really quite interesting. So let's move on to something else. Let's talk about the book adaptation. Now this is the paperback of the novelization of The Phantom Menace by Terry Brooks. I do have the hardback copies. The hardback copies I came in like, I think there was like 4 different covers, and I'll pop them over here as we go. There was a standard cover with a poster on, and then there was a cover with, I think, Obi-Wan on the front, which is another one that I picked up. There's one with Darth Maul on the front. I believe there was, the other 2 I believe were Amidala, and I believe the other one was Anakin Skywalker. So there was 4 plus the poster cover to collect all together. Now I picked up Obi-Wan and I picked up the Darth Maul cover plus the poster cover because they got really expensive to buy all of them. So those are the ones that I picked up. Then in 2000, I think it was around March 2000, this was released, which was the paperback version. So I'll pop that over there for you, which just depicts Darth Maul on the cover. And that is the back of it for you. As you can see, I've kept it in really good condition. If you're a fan of the special effects and all of the other effects, practical effects and that kind of thing that take place in Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, there's only really one book that you needed to pick up, and it was this one, which was Cinefex. Now, I think this is issue 78, and what we'll do is we'll pop that down on the table and we'll have a look through that. We have the Cinefex magazine with Mr. Binks on the front cover, giving the thumbs up. And we'll just take a look inside some of the photographs. Again, battle droids, Neimoidians, from the beginning of the film. More from the beginning of the film. There's various other different things in there as well. It's not all about Star Wars Episode 1. Various other visual effects. Nice battle droid there. Talk about the sculpting of Watto. The hero's journey of Qui-Gon Jinn. So yeah, this is actually quite focused on Episode 1. There's quite a lot of Episode 1 in here, but there is other bits as well if you wanted to read. Obviously loads of advertising and things. Of course, we also had the official magazine that went with Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, and that was the ongoing, I think it's a monthly or bi-monthly magazine. I don't know what it is now, I don't know what it's currently running at, but that was the Star Wars Insider. In the UK, we had something called Star Wars The Official Magazine, which was a version of this, but this is the American version of Star Wars Insider, and it came out slightly before the UK one. So I managed to get this one really early, and I went up to London to the Comedy Theatre back in 1999, and Ewan McGregor was doing a play there called Little Malcolm and His Battle Against the Eunuchs, and then when he came out on the stage door, I got him to sign a number of items for me, and this is one of them. So as you can see over here, we've got Ewan McGregor's signature, and that was obtained back in 1999 when this magazine came out. So it was one of the first images that he signed of Obi-Wan. There was a couple of black and white grainy images that were pulled off the trailer as well. Photographs were very difficult to come by around that time because Lucasfilm wouldn't release any. So you literally just had to grab whatever you could, take it up to Ewan, and he would sign it for you at the theatre. Of course, this features various different bits about Star Wars. Not just the Phantom Menace, but obviously that was the main focus of this one. We've got some lovely stuff here about a prequel update with Ewan. A shot of George looking with the camera over there. And some other bits and bobs. Adverts. But then it just goes on to, there you go, this shot of Terence Stamp as Chancellor Valorum. A piece about Chancellor Valorum inside. And another magazine that became an annual thing actually after the first one came out, we'll show you the first cover in a second, is the Vanity Fair magazine. Now Vanity Fair had Annie Leibovitz, and she's a very famous photographer. She went out onto the set of the Phantom Menace and all of the prequels, and I think all of the subsequent sequels as well, the ones that were made by Disney just recently, and she photographed behind the scenes shots and also shots for the film, and they were published in the Vanity Fair magazine, which was very, very popular. I remember trying to get hold of this particular one in W.H. Smith's back in the day, and I had to place a pre-order for it because we just knew it was going to sell out, and I managed to get about 3 or 4 copies just to keep for prosperity. But this particular one, again, I took up to Ewan McGregor at the Comedy Theatre and I got him to autograph it for me. So if you can see up here, we got Ewan McGregor's autograph. You can see a nice signature on the front there. What's nice about this is that it opens out, so you can see other characters on there. Imagine trying to get all of that signed to be a nightmare, especially with Kenny no longer with us. And there's another fold out in the middle here where we take a look at some of the characters, some of the, I guess they're extras, and C-3PO of course, and R2-D2. It's a lovely magazine. It's got some fantastic photographs in there. I don't know if we're going in the wrong direction actually with the photographs. Let's take a look. Yes, we are. So these are some of the other ones. Lovely article about it as well. There you go, there's that. These. And of course, that's a beautiful photograph of the two dueling. Although I don't think you ever saw Darth Maul and Obi-Wan fight in the desert in the film. This was a cut scene, but there you go. Now, we've reached a section of the video which you're probably going to think is a little bit strange, because I'm going to show you the cover of Heat magazine. So you're going to think, why are you showing me the cover of Heat magazine? Well, because back in the early 90s, Heat magazine wasn't the gossip magazine that it is today. You know, I think nowadays all they really focus on is celebrity relationships and affairs and who's dating who and what Kardashian this is and what Kardashian that is and that kind of business. Completely off from what they used to be. Back in the day, back in the 90s, there used to be a kind of a replica of the American Entertainment Weekly. I'll pop a cover of Entertainment Weekly over here for you. There we go. And Entertainment Weekly would cover upcoming movies, upcoming television shows, as well as celebrity gossip. Now, you know, the cover that I just showed you was focusing on Denise Van Outen and Jamiroquai back in the day. However, back in 1999, they really did go great into the coverage of Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. So I will pop down on the table for you in a moment some of the images from the inside of the magazine. One of them including this one, which is talking about... We'll get a closer look at that in a moment. That's talking about the merchandise of the Phantom Menace. You can see various other books, and we'll talk about those in a moment as well. So, yeah, Heat magazine was actually very, very good, a very good source for the Phantom Menace, and they covered it very well. They really did look out for the Star Wars fan and cover as much as they could. Let's just grab another one off the table. And again, you might think, what's this got to do with Star Wars? Because it's got Kenny from South Park on the cover. However, if we go to the inside briefly, he says, trying to find it. Articles again on Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. In this issue of Heat, they were concentrating on the plot of The Phantom Menace because very little was known around that time. Everything was being kept top secret until the movie was released in the States. So yeah, all the plot elements were revealed by Heat magazine in this particular article. And then you really can't hide these ones. I mean, these ones really did show you the degree that Heat would be going to cover The Phantom Menace. So we got a lovely cover with Jake Lloyd on there. There we go, Jake Lloyd talking about Anakin Skywalker. And of course, this was all about the second trailer, so a lot more was revealed, obviously plot-wise, around that time. And of course, this final one, which has got the stars of the film, so you've got Ewan McGregor, Jake Lloyd, Natalie Portman, and Liam Neeson, of course. Got the review. I think it's one of the first reviews that came out. Just not bad enough. So this is the beginning of the moaning, if you like. And here an article called Anakin in the UK, obviously playing off of Anarchy in the UK. And then I talk about all the characters, a little bit on George over there. And this is all the new characters you're due to meet in The Phantom Menace, including the other puppet Yoda. There's a bit there about whether you'll actually like it or not. And then talking about potentially what might be episode 2. And then some more about the actual cast there in a nice article. Bit on Ewan. Now, one of the biggest publishers from the Episode 1 era, and actually throughout the sequels, was DK Publishing. And they did some amazing books looking at some of the costumes, looking at some of the cross-sections and things like that for Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. But let's start with this one. This is kind of like a guide, a visual dictionary, if you will, about all the characters and all the kind of props and the vehicles and things like that you get inside Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. And we have got the incredible cross-sections book, which looks at the mechanics inside some of the vehicles. And we have also got Inside the Worlds of Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. So this is just, again, a look at some of the planets and things that you see featured in the film. Some cross-sections of Watto's junk shop there. These are very nicely done books, and they're actually underappreciated. You generally find these pretty cheap in stores, but they even got reduced at the time of publication. But you can see there's a hell of a lot of work goes into making these look great. All the detailing and everything. I just think it was very much underappreciated. So there you go, that's a look at some of the publications that came out around the time of Star Wars Episode 1 The Phantom Menace back in 1999. If you've enjoyed this video, thank you very much for watching first of all. Thank you for sticking it out to the end. Please click on the thumbs up button, it helps the video out, enables me to do more of these videos, and let me know in the comments what kind of videos you want to see. If you want to see some more Star Wars content, I've got some more Star Wars content I can do for you, just let me know. If you're brand new to the channel, please subscribe. But thank you for watching this one. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I will see you all very soon with another video. Take care.